What's up, you guys? I'm here with a new video today. I'm here to bring you guys my thoughts on the second place 60 card zombie Minerva deck, whatever you want to call it, from YCS Prague, piloted by Elias Stahlberg. Shout out to you. You guys already know this is like my favorite type of deck in Yu-Gi-Oh right now, has been for a while, and I actually wanted to talk about it because I feel like it took everyone by surprise that it made it all the way to the finals of Prague. You guys already know, obviously it was a spiral dominated format like it has been, at pretty much every YCS. They're not completely taking over the entire format like they did before the list, but they are still showing up in high numbers. What I really like is that people do not give up on this deck. You guys already know how much I like this deck, and I just learn new things when I see other players pilot the deck, when I watch their matches, when I see their card choices. It gives me ideas and new things to try. I think it's really, really cool that this deck made it that far. Unfortunately, if you guys did watch the finals, he lost. I mean, he went down, in a blaze of glory, trying to left arm for grass, and losing out to Ash Blossom, losing every card, that it just happens. There were questionable plays during that finals match. You guys can watch it. You guys can find it like on the stream or whatnot. Shout out to Raphael for winning though. It was just a really good game. I mean, he lost game 1 and then came back to win game 2 and game 3. I just think it's really cool that like I said, that this deck made it that far. I'm gonna get into it and then give you guys like my personal opinion on it and just thoughts about like this deck in this format and like what else it can do in like other upcoming formats. So we'll get into it. So for the monsters, there are 2 bricks in the deck. You guys already know that. Technically 3 actually. There's the Cyframe Driver and the Garnet. You guys already know though, you need them. You need them for Gamma and you need them for Brilliant Fusion, so kind of self-explanatory. He played only 2 copies of Wolf in his live deck profile, which I will have linked down below. Shout out to Lithium. Still the man, still recording everything at these events. One day, one day I hope to be there at one of the European events to do that too, because I think that's just awesome. He said that he only wanted 2 Wolves because, it is just not the best card to draw. He's not playing Solar Recharge, which I talked about in my deck profile, that Solar Recharge is just as good as it is to draw cards. Like, you can brick with it more times than less. It's better to just have the monsters that you can mill and have the monsters that you can search from charge, because you're always charging for Raiden. So keeping Wolf at 2 makes it so that you have less bricks to draw in this deck, because we do call it the 60 card brick for a reason. So 2 Wolves is just solid. He did play Giant Rex. You guys will see in the main deck spells, he is playing a very interesting spell card that we haven't seen a lot of like Lightsworn zombie players play. That's Gold Sark. You Gold Sark for Giant Rex, it summons. It's pretty damn cool. Just letting you guys know that's pretty cool. Plus you can link with it into Mrs. Radiant. Snow, you guys already know, best card in the deck. Snow fuels Giant Rex. Giant Rex fuels Snow, etc. You guys already know. And then, of course, the aforementioned Raidens, the 2 Raidens. Like I said, with charge at 3, 2 Raiden is actually enough. He has only 4 Lightsworns, 3 charge. It's enough. You're not always going to open multiple charges. He did actually open 2 charges in, I believe, in the first game. But, you're charging for Raiden, you charge for Wolf, things happen. That is the only thing, is that sometimes you do have to charge for Wolf, but I mean, it is what it is. You're, milling 3 cards, you're getting another card out of your deck. It fuels Snow, it fuels your whole deck strategy, get your zombies to the grave, so just solid. You guys already know Raiden is one of the best normal summons. On to some of the zombies. He's playing the 1 Gozuki. I've already mentioned before how good I feel Gozuki is. Its ability to just Foolish Burial Mizuki or just Foolish Burial a zombie is just amazing. I don't know if its other effect comes up as much when it goes to the grave and then you summon a zombie from hand, but I feel that it's just a solid card overall, because you can banish Mizuki, summon it, then dump a Mizuki. If you have multiple Mizukis, you guys already know that the plays go on and on. Constantly making your Omegas, constantly making your level 8 Synchros or your rank 4s, etc. Just really solid card in general. And then, of course, the 3 Mizuki. This card being at 3 is just amazing. I hope it stays at 3. It really fuels the zombie strategy of this deck. Like I've mentioned, the zombies really have taken the spotlight from the Lightsworns. The Lightsworns are solid. They always will be. Minerva is still an amazing card. But the zombies really do make the deck. The deck is able to just spam out your Omega, spam out your level 8s, and you're able to just do a lot of things with the deck. And I think that's what makes it really solid, is that Omega is such a strong card, especially in this format, that with Mizuki's at 3, with your Unizombies, with all your zombies, you're able to make your 8s more consistently, and you're able to do a lot more things with these cards. So I think Mizuki is just amazing. Then, of course, Trick Clown and Spirit Master, just other one-ofs. Trick Clown, you guys already know, for Brilliant Fusion. Spirit Master, just another solid card. You can Gold Sark it, pop a card. Whenever it's removed, pop a card. You combo it with Solitaire. Solitaire can re-special summon it. Pretty cool. 2 Goblinberg. It's, like I mentioned before, it is another target for your Invoker, but it's also just a really good starter card. Being able to just summon another monster, start your plays off is pretty good. This plus Solitaire, you guys already know, will make your Omegas. And then, of course, 1,000 Blades to go with the Trick Clown, to go with the combo. Being able to do the Clown Blade is awesome. Being able to just summon 2 monsters for free is pretty good. Anytime you take damage, you guys already know, summon this guy. So it's an added 1,300 body on the field, plus it's also target. It's also able to link into Mrs. Radiant. You're able to use it for any of your combos in this deck. So card is just really solid. And then, of course, the 3 Solitaires, your Lone Fire to get to Unizombie, and the 2 Unizombies, probably one of the best cards in the deck. Just so good. It's so good standalone. You know, you could discard a card, make it a 4, send a zombie, you know, banish a zombie, summon another zombie, make your 8s. I mean, you guys already know, like I said, the zombie engine has really overpowered the Lightsworn engine in this deck, but they go hand in hand in what they're trying to accomplish. Then, of course, he played only 2 Scorpios and the 1 Cobra. I guess he just wanted room, just didn't want a brick, I guess, on, you know, multiple Scorpios. And he is playing the 3 Lone Fire Blossom to get out the Scorpio, so it made sense. It was probably just to be able to cut cards to fit other cards in, and I totally agree with that. Like, if you're trying to, you know, still keep the deck, you know, add more cards to the deck and still keep the main deck strategy in there, you can cut a Scorpio, because you're going to Lone Fire into it most likely, so it's pretty solid. And then hand traps, he played a lot. He played 3 Ash, 3 Ghost Ogres, the 3 Gammas, and the 1 Max C. So this is pretty, I mean, there's not really much to say. Ash is amazing. It has so many cards it can hit. Gamma's amazing, especially when you're going second with this deck. Like, you just want to, you know, just power through your opponent's plays. And, you know, a lot of times this will make you a free Omega, which, I mean, it happens, but you can also, like, if for some reason you have to go first and you start doing things, you actually can negate, you know, other hand traps when going first. You won't, you know, it's not like always the best, but it's so good against so many monsters in this game right now, especially against spirals, that it really does put you in a winning position a lot of times, especially if you resolve it. And then Ogre has really like gained a lot of popularity. I've noticed that since YCS San Diego and other YCSs, people are just starting to main deck this card a lot more over Winter Cherries, or even over Joel and Lockbird. Like, this was interesting. The Joel and Lockbirds are in his side deck. There's been huge discussions about how good is Joel and Lockbird right now. And, you know, it's, of course, really solid. It is a D barrier against spirals, but at the same time, they can pass with still 5 cards in hand or whatever, or 4 cards in hand if they terraforming or whatever. And a lot of times, like, if they just hand trap you, they can just fight back the next turn and your Joel is gone. Ogre's really solid. Hitting the double helix is amazing, just gets it off the board. Anything to get the monsters off the board. You just don't want to Ghost Ogre the wrong card. Like, a lot of people do that. A lot of people Ghost Ogre the wrong card, but Ogre is just solid overall. Like, you can use it also as a tuner. Don't know how often that will come up, but it does give you access to Michael and Black Rose, so just something to remember. Maxi is still a god card. Nothing else to say about that. On to the spells, of course, the other god card, the Pringle, the grass is greener. Resolve it. Pretty much you're going to win. 3 Desires, 60 cards. You guys already know Pot of Greed is amazing. 1 Soul Charge. Don't need to explain that. Now, Gold Sark. Gold Sark's really interesting. So Gold Sark has really just added benefit of the fact that you run cards like Giant Rex and Shiranui's Spirit Master. They both are able to trigger when banished. Again, Giant Rex will summon itself, and the Spirit Master will pop a card. And I think that's really cool. You can even do, like, if you for some reason banish your Spirit Master, you could even do this weird play where you could Gold Sark for Solitaire. Solitaire getting banished would summon back the Spirit Master, so it would get you another body on the field. There are a lot of plays that actually go on with Gold Sark. And I guess worst case scenario, I don't know if this would ever come up, but if you would ever Gold Sark for the grass or for a card you need, it's hard to say if you would. I mean, I guess you could combo it with actually one of the cards I actually forgot to include in the extra deck, which is Bujensi Amaterasu. Actually, you cut this over the Proxy Dragon. I'm just going to make that change right now because I actually just remembered that. Bujinki. There it is. So, yeah, so he did run this card, and I'll talk about that when we get to the extra deck. But, yeah, you are able to do a couple cool things because with it banished, if you do actually summon Amaterasu, you are able to, use this effect. 1 Foolish Burial, self-explanatory, and the 3 left arms makes it so you have 4 copies of Grass and 4 copies of Soul Charge, pretty solid. Charge at 3, don't need to explain, thank God that card's at 3, it's amazing. He chose to main deck 3 Cosmic Cyclone. I think that's really interesting. If you guys saw in my build, Johnny and I both played Twin Twister. It was for the reason that we just felt we could hit more back row. I think Cosmic Cyclone is a really good call, though, as well. It's something I probably will try out myself, because cycloning Resort, cycloning any of the spiral cards and getting them banished instead of putting them in the grave where a lot of times they want to be is just really solid. Again, if you play against pendulums, banishing their scales is better than destroying them. If you play against True Dracos, banishing any of their spells and traps, or Diagram is better than, you know, putting them in the grave, etc. So I think it was a really interesting call, and this is something I actually am going to test myself. This is something I'm taking away from this deck profile, that I want to actually test Cosmic Cyclone in the main deck and see how it does over Twin Twister. And then, of course, 3 Brilliant Fusion gets an amazing card. Extra normals are broken. Extra deck, so you guys already know Seraph Knight for the Brilliant Fusion. I'm going to talk about this after. For the 8s, we got Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend, the triple Omegas. You guys already know it's the name of the game. Omega dot deck, ridiculous card, one of the best cards in Link format, hands down. Michael and Black Rose, best 7s. Rank 4s, which one I did forget was Amaterasu. Like I said, during your opponent's turn, it's a pretty cool effect. You can target one of your banished level 4 or lower monsters, add that target to your hand. So if you really wanted to get crafty and you had Amaterasu on the field and Gold Sark, you could Gold Sark for something, you know, add it back during your opponent's turn. During your turn, you could special summon a level 4 or lower monster that you banished. So it does have added combos, I guess if you want to call it that, if you Gold Sarked with Amaterasu on the board. So pretty solid card. Getting back hand traps is ridiculous. Tornado Dragon, self-explanatory. Babushka, so annoying but so necessary. Minerva, of course, the one Invoker for the combo. And then he chose to not play, this is where I made the mistake because I was working with my deck before, but he chose to not play Decode or Proxy Dragon. Chose to play Borreload. Card's insane. You know, getting this card off is ridiculous. I've noticed a lot of players are starting to play this card. I think it's just a really good card in general. And then Mrs. Radiant, you guys already know it's part of the combo. Easily one of the best links for this deck because there are so many Earth targets. I mentioned it in my deck profile before, but the zombies, the Goblinbergs, even the Garnet has value because it's Earth. Like, you can actually turn it into Radiant if, you know, you drew it. And you can do some crazy stuff where you could shuffle it back with Omega and then get your Brilliant back. Like, it's crazy. Like, Mrs. Radiant is just insane, like, what it does, you know, for this deck. And then the last monster to talk about is the Void Ogre Dragon. So he chose to play this in the main deck. I think this was really interesting. You do have the ability to make it because of Unizombie. And a lot of times I feel that this strategy is correct because your deck does not play traps. You do actually rarely have a hand. You usually try to use the majority of the cards in your hand to make as many synchros, as many XYZs, as many plays as possible. And then with no cards in hand, you can negate you can negate a spell or trap. I think that's ridiculous. I feel like that is one of the coolest ways to play around evenly matched, because if you make your board and end with Void Ogre, no cards in hand, you can just negate the evenly matched outright, which I think is ridiculous. If you don't have the hand traps or anything to stop it, you can just negate, it with Void Ogre. I think that's a really solid card. Also, if he puts up his board and then he ends on this against Spirals, he can negate the Terraforming, negate the negate the Resort, negate any of the main spells that they play. So I think that this was a really interesting call, and again, this is something I'm going to actually try and see if I like this card over some of the other cards that he omitted. So that's it for the extra deck. And just for the side deck real quick, he played the Kaiju package of Godarla, Gamma and Sticky Strings with, of course, the one Slumber. You got the 3 Droll and Lockbird. You guys already know it's for Trick Stars and for Spirals. Got the Board Wipes going second. You guys already know, just more going second cards. And then 3 D-Barrier and 3 Strike when going first against decks. Strike is just, solid overall. You start with it. It's just a really good way to just answer monsters. And D-Barrier is for Pendulums and any decks that play like XYZs, etc. Just really, really solid list overall. I really like it. I like a lot of the choices. It gives me ideas to work with. I think Gold Sark is just really interesting. I think I really underestimated that card in this deck until I kind of pieced it together and realized, wow, there are a lot more combos with this card than I initially thought. It wasn't a card that Johnny and I had even put in our main deck, but it could definitely be something I could see being played going forward. Just really solid list. Congrats again to Elias Stahlberg for making it to second place with his deck. Still repping the 60 card brick. We're always repping the 60 card brick. In the comments below, I'd like to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about this deck? It's nice to see something besides Spiral against Spiral in the finals, or Spiral versus Trickstar, Spiral versus Pendulum Magicians, or any of those decks, because like I said, I love this deck. I think this deck has so many plays, so many combos, that it's just really cool that players do not give up on it. They play their heart out and they make it all the way to the finals and almost win a YCS with it, which I think is ridiculous. I'm waiting for the day this deck does win a YCS, because it'll be, all hail the 60 card brick. So yeah, but anyways, let me know what you guys think about the deck in the comments below. If you want me to talk about any other decks from that YCS. That is definitely something I could do. I did see some pretty interesting dinosaur decks, like 60-card dinosaur decks, so that's definitely something that caught my eye. I want to talk about anything not Spiral, no offense to Spiral players or any of the meta decks, but I like these other decks because it gives us something new to look at. Because let's face it, all the Spiral decks are looking the same. The changes are important, though. I feel like you guys should still watch all the Spiral deck profiles because you're going to learn something like I do about their strategies and how they've changed it with every YCS that has passed, because lists keep changing, and I think that way you'll keep up to date with what's going on. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on the deck in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.